After being in leadership of what, in our view, has been a completely failed response by this government to the coronavirus crisis, Nancy Pelosi now has a new idea of how maybe we should deal with it. Let's take a listen.
As we go forward, let's see what works, what is operational, and what needs other attention. Others have suggested a minimum income for a guaranteed income for people. Is that worthy of attention now? Perhaps so.
Perhaps.
Oh,
so.
Perhaps
Worthy.
so. Huh. Would have been nice to have some of these ideas like, a month ago.
2 months ago, right? I mean, it's funny. You can see this stuff permeating, and this is what I keep telling people on the right, which is I'm like, hey, look, you want to start tinkering? I mean, in my view, it was a general draw. And in a draw, the party in power seems to do okay for the first time around. Mm-hmm. But the second time around, I'm like, if you don't meet the moment of 26 million unemployed and try to go with the Hawley plan or picking up people's paychecks, and you have Nancy Pelosi out there saying it's late. Look, I don't think she's going to do it. A worthy look, and perhaps so. But rhetorically, if they're outmaneuvering you on who's trying to help workers better, they're going to win, and you're going to set yourself up for a big failure. I've talked about this 2 days in a row now.
At the beginning, it looked very much like Republicans were smartly listening to some of those more populist elements in their ranks. Right. I mean, even, Mitt Romney was the first one to sort of put on the table, let's just send everybody some cash. He wasn't talking about a recurring payment, but still, coming from the right, coming from Mitt Romney, that was a big deal. Marco Rubio was out front with dealing with small businesses, right? You even heard some things coming from the president when he was asked about them, about stock buybacks and these sorts of things and covering people's health care. That whole ethos seems to be gone now. Yep. Like, it's been crushed. I'm sure what happened is after the initial stimulus, and by the way, big business got everything they wanted out of that. And now that they have that, they're like, that's nice. That's cute that you want to help small businesses. That's cute that you want to help workers. But let's get back to what we're really all about here, which is serving our interests. And now that we've gotten our interests, taken care of, now it's time to care about the national debt. And so, it opens up. I mean, look, Pelosi's like way late to this. Maxine Waters had suggested the idea of $2,000 monthly payments. A lot of Democrats have, so it's not like this is a new idea, but because the Republican Party and the Trump administration have been sort of absent on the economic conversation in recent weeks, it's opened up a huge lane for them.
Yeah, getting outflanked by Nancy Pelosi is insane.
It's pathetic.
I mean, it's incredibly pathetic. This is the woman, like we said, who has put corporate hospital bailouts at the #1 list of everything, and whose first economic injection proposal was about the SALT cap deduction and making sure that her wealthy constituents in San Francisco could get taken care of.
And they countered with a capital gains tax cut.
Right.
Great. Way to go, guys, all the way around. There was another Pelosi moment that caught our eye at the end of an interview with MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle. Let's take a listen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for this additional $320 billion. American business needs it. I appreciate all that everyone in our government is doing right now to help us in this trying time. Thanks for your time this morning.
Well, thank you for your objective view of it all, because that's all very helpful. It's all very helpful. Thank you so much for your attention to this important issue. Thank you.
Oh,
that is so cringe. Cringe.
Listen.
What are you supposed to lick the boots of the people who throw us some cash? Like, what is that? Yeah.
I mean, look, I've been accused of being like a Bernie sycophant or whatever. Look, I interviewed Bernie Sanders. Kill me if I ever end an interview with a lawmaker in that kind of way. Especially, by the way, what are you thanking her for? This response has been pathetic. It's been a mess. It's been crumbs to workers, a pathetically inadequate small business response,
which
and
wasn't even
trillions wasn't even her idea. Which she delayed, by the way, re-upping the funding in order to get almost literally nothing and to get rolled on every last piece of what they said that they wanted. Like, what are you doing?
I've interviewed Donald Trump 4 times. I've asked him several questions in the White House press room, Rose Garden, and all that. I never said anything more than, thank you, Mr. President, for calling on me. That was it. I mean, look,
so much.
That is that's like Nicole Wallace fawning over Joe Biden level. And it's like, thank you. I mean, look, this is the media and the Democratic establishment complicity of like, oh, thank you for throwing these crumbs. Thank you. Like, it's like lionizing somebody. That's worth a lot of money. That's the one thing that we don't ever talk about. about. That is basically paid advertising worth millions of dollars.
It's also the distance between like the sort of hashtag resistance view of Pelosi and the reality of how she's actually legislated and opposed Trump, by the way, also in the Trump era where she gives him a brand new trade deal, signs off on his military budgets, but then, she rips up the speech and does the clap and wears like a pin that, caught people's attention, and that's how she's really resisting.
Yeah, so our daily media segment, they cover themselves in glory every day. Luckily for this show, because we get to point it out to all of you.
Saagar, thank you so much. God, you're just so amazing.
Thank you for your objectivity, for everything else. We'll have more Rising for you after this.